Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Mars Phone Barnsey. I hope everybody's doing okay. I've got a little tiny bit of a classic image for you today. I just thought I'd do someone else's discovery for a change, although I will be showing you some of the things that I've discovered in it. This is a classic discovery from the 2000s, from the year 2000. When I show you that, you will, if you're into Martian anomalies and stuff like that, you will recognise it straight away. And it was discovered by Mr. Joseph Skipper, one of the pioneering researchers of Mars anomalies, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. And he was the original discoverer of these anomalies on this particular Mars Global Surveyor image, which was taken on the 1st of the 1st 2000 at 12:25, which I thought was really interesting, because you know, it was an interesting year, wasn't it? 2000. They thought all the computer systems were going to crash and everything, and you know, it was going to be the end of the world. It was interesting times. But anyway, and this is the image, and Mr. Skipper pointed these out, and he described them as being an industrial site, or a base, a Martian base, something like that. And I just think that, you know, they always fascinated me, and I always thought that it was pretty clear proof that an intelligent civilization did exist on Mars, because I don't think for one second that these are in any way natural. Not at all. The only thing I disagree with Mr. Skipper was the fact that he thought this was current. He thought this dome and this tube, and ending in this tube here, which you can just about see. I don't know, it's a bit grainy, but he thought that this tube was spraying out some kind of fluid, water or something like that. And on first observation, it does look like that, but it's not current. It's not actually spraying out liquid now, or when this image was taken. They said it was proof of an active civilization on Mars this moment in time. And like I say, initial observations, it does look like that, but I think this entire area is completely and utterly disused. It's eroded. It's very ancient. Everything's fallen apart. And I think what we're looking at is maybe, I mean, I do think this was some kind of machine, and I think it was used in an industrial manner to spray some kind of liquid. But this is what we can see is the remnants of that. Okay, and it's not actually currently, or up to 2000 when this was taken, it's not actually spraying, because this is on the ground. This is on the ground and it's thick. It looks like ice, but I don't think it is ice, and it looks like structures within what is supposed to be the spray. Okay, so I just don't think it's current anyway. Okay, and this here, so this looks like it was once something that was used to spray some kind of material. It could have been water, I don't know, I'm not too sure. I suspect that it wasn't water, it was some kind of fluid, but I'll come back to that in a minute. This next to it is just as fascinating, and this is more likely to be something along the lines of what I would imagine to have been a conveyor or something like that. So maybe this was conveying or mining the rock, and this is why this is more, this has got a squarer outline, if you like. Again, it's very high eroded, and it's definitely not in use. Okay. From here, the end of the tube, to here is about 450 to 480 meters in length. So we're looking at something huge. You know, from here to the end of this dome is about 3/4 of a mile. From here to here is about the same, about 3/4 of a mile or something like that. So it is a huge complex. This so-called dome here, this is about a mile, roughly, you know, a mile across. I don't really like guessing at sizes, but I thought I'd have to do it on this because this isn't my image. I thought I'd have to do a little bit of justice with the sizes on it. So this is like rough calculations and rough working out. So that's about a mile, something like that. So again, huge, but that isn't what it seems either. Okay, this so-called dome. What I'm going to do, right? I'm just going to go to another image of this because it's much better than mine, a much higher resolution than what I can do. Okay, just bear with us for 1 second. So if we just open it up here, and I actually got this from just a search on the internet, and it was one of those, it come up on where you could just download the images. But I done a little bit of research, and I found that this is actually from a site called the Farsight Project, and they're into they think that they reckon they've got individuals that can send their minds 100 million miles away and tell you exactly what's on the surface of Mars or any other celestial body. So if you're into that sort of thing, projecting your mind out and explaining what's on the surface, then go to the site, the Farsight. But I don't know about that, but they've certainly got some good image specialists on the crew, much better than what I could do, guys. So I just thought that it's exactly the same. I've checked it against mine, and everything in it is exactly the same. It's just a slightly better resolution, and you can really move in close, which is going to help us in our exploration here. So you can actually see the tube here, but the so-called spray is below the tube. But as you can see, it's solid. It's in the ground, and there's structures within the so-called spray. So I'd say this was old and ancient. Here you've got a circular entranceway, and coming out of the circular entrance is it looks like a waterfall, which I think is most probably dried up. But obviously you can see where dark material, I don't know whether it was mud, sand, water, a mixture of all those things, has been coming out of the hole. Can you see that? And then here, this dark circular area again is another, because all this is hollow, by the way. Everything you can see is hollow. Okay. Now and from here you can see a fan shape bright area, and this looks like material that has been washed down. Okay, because that's like a funnel there. See that? That's a funnel, and all this that you can see is like structures and rebar and bits of detritus and material, and it's being washed down like in a V shape, and it looks as if it's impacted on this. Well, I don't know what to call it. I don't know whether to call it the conveyor belt or whatever, but it's impacted onto it, and some of the material has slid down the side of this little valley here. Can you see that? It's slid down, and in fact there's another circular opening, and can you see all the material that's spewed out of it? Can you see it? That dark material. I'm pretty certain it's not current, guys. It's the remnants, if you like, of what once was, what used to come out of it. Okay, but so we've got something that obviously was some kind of tube, and also there was waste material coming out here, and waste material coming out here, and it looks as if it was quite heavy. Now this here is actually an enclosed structure, but what's happened, it's because it's ancient, very ancient, guys. It's broken open, if you like. If you look here, all that is eroded material, and you can see the surface is being ripped open. See these dark areas and the white here? That's like the surface, and it's being ripped open, and you can see into this area. All this is like rebar and material, and it's all been smashed open. Yeah, and so is this conveyor belt, if you like. You can see like an archway here, and there's also a little tiny bit of an archway there. So these were structures but into the ground, and this was like a platform on top. There's another entranceway there, and it was enclosed, but all of the detritus and the the material that was coming down here, which you can see clearly, has broken it all open. Okay, and there's a gap there in the structure. It looks as if there's a round circular shape here, which looks as if it's broken open as well. So it's encased here, and then the integrity is being destroyed here. Can you see that's cracked open? And then all this material has landed on it, and it looks as if the top surface has been eroded away or destroyed, whatever. And we can see cross beams coming across. See this structural support, and we can see square areas which is inside the actual tube. Can you see that? And then it's broken open here. Then we have a round central hub with a dome shaped structure on the top here, and then you can just see where it's open again, and then it encloses again. It's covered again here. Can you see that? It's covered again here, and there's like little structures on top, and then there's multiple structures here. There's an opening here. I'm just pointing out different things that I can see. There's an opening there. Okay, and then there's interesting stuff all hanging off here, structures, and I don't know, it could be like machinery that's all collapsing. But anyway, let's get back to this. And then it breaks open again here, guys. Can you see that? It's broken open again, and it's like an overhang on top here, and then it's broken, and it seems to go back into, it's covered again by the soil and the rock above it, and then when it gets to here it fans out. Can you see that? It fans out here. Can you see that? And I don't know what this is. I don't know whether it's an entrance or a structure, or I'm not quite sure, guys, but it's no coincidence that that structure is opposite this collapsed dome, and it looks as if it's built into this. Okay, so this is built into this structure because there's the platform there. You see it's covered in dust and sand, the platform, but there's a hard, which obviously was a much brighter material, as part of this. You see that where it comes out and then in? So this is part of that, and it's right opposite this destroyed, eroded structure. And I'm thinking this was maybe where they collected the rocks the raw material inside or this, and then it was used to produce whatever, some metals, or I don't know. Maybe my little pet theory, and it's only a little pet theory, was that the material was maybe brought up here. It could have been like, there's another dome, it's on the end. See, it's on the end of another dome. The way this tube is on the end of a dome. I think that's important. This could have been the raw material, and this could have been the end result, because I'm just wondering whether this spray is producing this funny looking terrain. You know, because all this was hollow. So was it producing an outer covering, which you would say could be like cement or some kind of polymer, I don't know. And it was, because I think, see that it's round there, see that round shape there, and then here we have another rounded shape, and then here we have another teardrop rounded shape. So to me, this area was being used to produce this ground, if you like, this unusual looking, asbestos looking like ground, if you see, you know, the surface. So was that what it was doing, producing their home, possibly? I don't, you know, where they live, I don't know. But this here looks the same as that. It's just that this is not used now. So this is a disused one of these, or it was disused before this, and then this was stopped mid use or something, I don't know. But it had already been used, and for whatever it was building, because this seems to come up here. See that? Comes up, because this is like a valley here, and this is a like a raised area. Again, this, you know, was this a transport tube or something like that? See this with these transport tubes, because they seem to be all over the place. Well, I'll come back to that in a minute. But it looks like we've got a disused tube here, one that was stopped mid stride, and then this has just been totally destroyed by detritus and stuff coming off this cliff here. Okay, and I just want you to notice, right, this is in the ground as well. You can see the tube, okay, but I think this was completely covered, boxed in, the same as this, but again it's eroded and destroyed, and you can see a square area here, which is where it's open to the elements, and then here it's closed again, and then it comes up here. But can you see that white line there, 45 degrees, and that white line, 45 degrees? That's quite important, that, because it's given us like infrastructure going up to this this dome. Okay, because if we come a little bit now, just remember that shape there. Okay, that's quite important, because if we come up here, we can see the exact same shape here. Can you see that? It's like a tube that's broken down the middle. It's not fully enclosed, and then it comes up 45 degrees here, and then 45 degrees there. Can you see that? So it's like a Y-shaped fan. Now, and then it goes off here, and I think this could have been what it was producing. See all this funny surface area, funny material, and then it's being used and then discarded. Okay, and I think it's the same as that. Could you see the 45? You know, the Y shape, the way it comes out up to this dome. but I just think that is a disused one. And we've also got one here this way, but it's coming from the opposite direction. Can you see that? It's coming from the opposite direction, and this has got more it's got more of a covering on it, if you know what I mean. Now what I want to do is just come out of this for a second, because I just want to have a look. I just want to show you this area in a little bit more detail. Okay, so because of this right in here, I just want to, you know, just get rid of that, and just take my own one, which isn't as high resolution, but don't worry, I've taken a magnified shot of it. Okay, so this is the area that I just want us to concentrate on. So okay, so I've just flipped it. Right, now there's the V-shaped object here, and there's the V-shaped object here, but can you notice anything here in that area? Just have a good look and see if you can see it without me saying anything about it. Sometimes, you know, you've got to put your mind out there, and you've got to think a little tiny bit outside the box, because when I put these things out, people just totally dismiss them straight away. But I think when they do these things, they're an integral part of their culture. Okay, what I can see is the face and the body of some you know, I think it's a woman, because it gives me the impression of being feminine. Okay, and as soon as I start pointing these things out, people just instantly dismiss it. But I'm telling you, when these Martian cultures built, they built their structures in such a fashion that they looked like human faces, they looked like humans, animals, and it was very important to them. And people just dismiss it straight away as pareidolia and stuff like that. They'll accept like this, which looks like a spray of wars, and they accept something physical like this, you know, like machinery, and they've got no problem with accepting that there was a Martian civilization, and they were technical. But as soon as you start pointing out stuff like this, they go, oh no, it's pareidolia, it's impossible, it can't. And I don't know why, because I think when a civilization gets to a certain level, that art and high art and technology go together, and I'm sure they do, you know what I mean. But anyway, so what I can see is a human face. You can see the eyes, see the nose, see the mouth, you can see the way the face is being actually sculpted in. It's again, it looks like structures that are being placed in such a way that they resemble a human being. And her arm here is another tube. That's a tube, an open tube that goes in to the ground. Can you see that? Can you see that dark area? That is a tube, an open tube that I've been describing, like this one here on the right, but it's her arm. Okay, it's an integral part of what they're trying to convey. Okay, so her arm reaches up and it goes into the ground. Okay, her other arm here is holding up this funny shape here, which is not, and it's a platform. Okay, because these darker areas here are underground, because this is like a giant platform, and everything under it is hollow. It's all hollowed out, and the likes of this oval shape, this funny oval shape, and this here are platforms, and that is like a bridge across the abyss, if you like, here, and the same here. And this is an entrance here that goes in the ground. Can you see that? You can see her pelvis. Her pelvis there is the same as that. Can you see that Y shape? And the same as that. Can you see that Y shaped like fan, like 45 degrees, 45 degrees? That is that. And you can see it's split down the centre. So it's like a tube, but you know, with walls on either side, but it's hollow in the centre, and it comes up 45 degrees and it comes up 45 degrees, but this is covered by something. I dare say it's part of whatever this makes, like an artificial covering, but it's hollow underneath it. Okay, all these dark areas are hollow. Just let me go into that for 1 second, guys. Okay, so this is the image, right? I've just taken this on its own, if you like, so we can just have a look at it. And if I adjust the levels, if I adjust the levels there, you can see already that we're getting, you know, it's coming out. All we're doing is just messing about with the contrast and the brightness. Can you see it? Okay, it's not rocket science at all, but it's just like a delicate, you know, it's a delicate balance. I think that gives us a good impression, doesn't it, of what we're looking at. Now, can you see that? It's a woman. No matter how daft it sounds, no matter how stupid that may seem, that is a sculpture in the ground, but it's a sculpture that's been made out of machinery and out of the equipment that they use to produce all this funny looking surface. Okay, look at the tube there with the fan shape on the end. It's exactly the same either side. It's not natural, is it? Now if I just rotate this 180 degrees, you can see that a lot better. But next to it is another open structure that has been broken down the centre. Can you see it? You see like the jagged edges, because that's some kind of structure. And this is one of the reasons why they get away. You know, NASA and ESA and that get away with a lot, because a lot of their buildings were actually, I think, so a lot of their buildings were very natural looking because I think they were built out of the material that was available, like the sand and the rock. Okay, but just on a massive, gigantic scale, absolute massive scale, and because it looks natural, it, you know, they can get away with it with a hell of a lot. Now, can you see this? The body, central body. Now you can see it for what it is. It's like a ramp or something that comes down into the hollow area, and there's like a bridge that goes across here. Can you see the V shape opening? Now look at that. You see them structures there? They're structures on this platform, and you can see that it's hollow underneath it. But that's a big massive structure, and there's other structures around it. That's why all these bright spaces are there. Not because it's like the reflection of snow or something like that. It's being put there to destroy the structures, so you can't see the structures, guys. All this, right, is being put there deliberately, because if you look very, very carefully, you can see structures. Look, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But they're equal on both sides, with a central road going through to another opening. See the tube? And it comes down. Absolutely amazing. It's not pareidolia, at least in my humble opinion it's not. Okay guys, I'll just come out of that and we'll get back to our main image. Again, I don't want to make this too long for you, because I know, you know, it takes a long time, doesn't it, to watch these things. But this is another thing as well about that particular sculpture. I'll just point it up a little tiny bit there. Now, when you look at it from this point of view, right, it's now looking at all this. Okay, so you see its eyes, it's lying now, it's like lying on its side with its leg raised. Okay, and you can see the platform there, and you know it's connected by little bridges from one side to the other. This is a round platform, there's an entranceway, but it looks now as if it's to me as if it's orientated at this. So it was obviously very important to them, the industrial side of it, but also the artistic side of it. Okay, I'm sorry if I've gone on a little bit long about this, but I just love these works of art, and it's integral to you know these Martian civilizations, and I think they're more fascinating than the actual machinery. You know, I get more of a kick out of finding stuff like that than I do out of these things, and these are fascinating enough. Okay, what I think I'll do, right, is I think I'll leave this video here now, and what I'll do is I'll come back to it on a part 2. I don't want to make it too long, okay, so I'm going to leave it here, and I want to just come back to this and another little area that I found very interesting, which seems to show eroded ruins. I think so anyway, and but I'll do that in a second video. So this was an amazing find in the year 2000 by Mr. Joseph Skipper, and it's always fascinated me, and I've shown you what was, you know, quite obvious. There's little bits of showing you that where in the original people don't seem to go into these in any detail, because I think they're fascinated by the what looks like a jet spray, that they don't seem to go into it in very much detail. But you know, I just think it's an amazing image. I think it's showing the remnants of something that was industrial on Mars at some time in its distant past. Don't think it's active now. I think it's eroded, destroyed, and you know, we can see some of the works of art that always seem to accompany Martian structures, and it seemed to be an integrated part of the civilization. Okay, so I think I'll leave it there, guys, and then but I will come back to it with a part 2. I just want to go over this. It's not major, it's just a few little things that I think need pointing out, and then we can move forward. Okay, thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next video. Thank you very much.